being beaten and unalived after you suffer for all over 12 hours. Today is Good Friday, and we all know what Good Friday is about. It is about Jesus. Jesus dying for us. It's not about the bunnies and the eggs. That's just a distraction, okay? That's not a part of it any at all. So, for some reason, George Floyd came to my mind, and I don't think I ever watched that video fully, but I remember what happened to him, and I also remember how outraged the whole world was. And we have a right to be outraged because nobody should be treated like that. But then I was there thinking about it, and it came to me. Jesus was treated 100 times worse than that, even 1,000 times worse than that. And that's what we should be outraged about also. I wish the whole world would be outraged about it, because this is a man that have never sinned. No, there's no eyewitness of Jesus committing a sin. Nobody can say that, oh, he used to do this with that person, he told a lie, he stole from the store down. Nobody can give that account. Of course, there are people who will lie on you, like the Jews, who kept saying he's a wine bibber and he's this, and he eat with the people that are unclean, which all of those things were a lie. So we are looking at facts now, right? And Jesus was the only one that ever lived that never sinned. But he's also the only one that suffered the way he suffered. And I know you're going to say, yes, it was prophesied, he had to do it. But that does not make it any easier. So they had the Passover a few hours earlier, and around between 10 and 12 p.m. Friday evening. They call it Thursday evening, the Romans, but really the day starts in the evening. The evening and the morning is the first day according to Genesis, right? So it would be Friday evening Jewish time, Friday night, because the night comes before the morning, because he went into Gethsemane around between 10 and 12, and he went there for one purpose, and that was to pray and get strength. And while he was praying, his sweat became blood. What type of anguish can anyone be in that their sweat becomes blood? Here's what happened. Jesus was under the pressure of sin. Your sin and my sin. The world's sin. Jesus was under taking on the sin straight back from Adam and Eve to Cain. He took on the sin straight to us, straight to every human being that will ever sin on this earth. And you say, why did it turn drops of blood? Because sin is heavy. The weight of sin is heavy. And for somebody who have never sinned to have that weight, it is a heavy weight. And you say, nah, how do you know it's heavy? Okay, cheat on your wife and see the guilt that you have. If your conscience is not dead, that is it. Because some people, they have no conscience. So or steal something or gossip about somebody and see how you feel when that person comes around. It's a heavy weight, and he did not suffer for one sin. He suffered for every sin that would ever happen. And that is why he was in so much agony. Hello, William Fry. And his pain was not because he had done something wrong. His pain was for us. So he suffered from 1 a.m. They came for him. They came for him. The Roman soldiers came for him around 1 a.m. And right now where I am, it's about, I think it's about 5 p.m. The sun is not set yet. But we know that his torture went from 1 a.m. straight back until sunset Friday, the beginning of Sabbath. So imagine, look at the amount of things you have done since 1 a.m. this morning. And imagine God, Jesus, being tortured and taunted from 1 a.m. this morning until now. That is a lot of suffering for any one person to go through. And to know that he did it for us, we should be outraged. We should be grateful. Just outraged of the fact of what he went through. And we cannot do anything but accept what he has done for us. Because here's the thing. I don't know how much you, and I'm going to say things. If you don't know what I'm saying, please go and research it. In Jesus bore our sins, but it's a gift. You have to accept it. You cannot get the gift unless you accept it. Nobody is going to force it upon you, because God is a God of love. He's not going to force. If he forces the gift on you, then he becomes like the enemy. So he cannot force it on you. That is why he gives us free will. We have to. Hello, Manan Fan Katsy Cat's Eye 6360. Hi there. I'm just elaborating on what Jesus did, and I am looking at how profound it is for all of us, and the gift we have to accept. That's what I was saying. You cannot be saved unless you accept it. Jesus didn't die for Christians. He didn't die for U.S. citizens. He died for the whole world. Here's the kicker. If Jesus did not die and rise again, the whole world would cease to exist. I do have family members that died, but we don't want to go into my family members. We are talking about how Jesus suffered, and you can just imagine how his family felt standing there. John was at the front of the line. His mother was at the front of the line, to the point when Jesus looked down from the cross, he saw them and he said, "Son, behold thy mother." It was Mary, his mother, that he was giving to John, for John to take care of her, because it seems like Joseph had already passed off the scene. We don't have any story about that. But the point I am making is that if Jesus did not die and rise again, the whole world would cease to exist, because the creation cannot continue to exist without the creator. So it is the death of Jesus that actually gave us what we see now, and we call it borrowed time. We have been given time, grace. We have been given grace so that we have time to be saved. But grace is going to run out one day. Mercy is going to run out one day, right? So, I'm going to click this because they keep on asking me, start a Q&A. Q&A. It says to start a Q&A. So, if you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat. I will answer it. But Jesus didn't only die for sinners, he died for the world to continue to exist. The world could not exist without Jesus because he is the light and he is the creator. Because if the creator is not present, how can the creation continue to exist? How can light continue to shine if the self-existent light is not around? So I am happy that Jesus died, and I am happy that he rose again. But what we should remember is that Jesus' death, he died for. I have a neighbor that is a Hindu, and I remember the first time I was impressed to talk to her about God. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And the Spirit came to me and said, I died for her too. That's what came to me. And we have had a very good relationship. I have spoken to her. She have come to church with me. We have spoken about a lot of stuff. But we have to understand that our small view of what Jesus did is not going to cut it. Jesus died for everyone, and it's our job to tell people about Jesus. It's not for us after we get it, it's for us to give. And if we take it for ourselves, we are going to be in trouble because the Spirit is not going to abide with us forever. And when the Spirit leaves, the enemy is going to take possession of us. So we need to tell others about the goodness of God. Sometimes they will listen today, sometimes they will listen tomorrow. Because your job is not to force people, your job is to speak. God does the rest. He says his words will not come back to him void. So our job is just to give the word. He will do the rest. And we don't know how the Spirit works because we don't know how the wind works, right? So similar to how the wind comes and goes, the Spirit comes and the Spirit goes. We do not have information or a tab to say when it's coming or when it's going. I want you to be blessed today and just remember what God has done for us through Jesus. And also, he rested on the Sabbath. He did not rise from the dead on the Sabbath. Mary Magdalene and the ladies that were going to give him the spices, they realized that the Sabbath was close. So they turned back to do it on Sunday. So even when he was dead, Jesus kept the Sabbath, and we should keep the Sabbath also, as he says that he is Lord of the Sabbath. So be blessed and you have a great weekend. I might be on tomorrow or I might be on Sunday. If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the chat or send me an email. I'm not sure if my email is on the account. I'll check. I don't really give out a lot of information about myself because it's not about me. So, I'm just the messenger. God bless. Have a great evening. Bye.